They didn't raise their voices. They didn't need to. Because this time, Gavin Newsom didn't just get criticized, he froze. While California burns, riots erupt, and homelessness spills into every street, the carefully polished image finally cracked. And when Joe Rogan and Gutfeld turned the spotlight on him, there was nowhere left for him to hide. No talking points, no spin, no emergency press conference, no emergency press release that was fast enough to save the moment. Guys, this wasn't a hit job. This was a reality check. Live, unscripted, and brutal. Joe Rogan brought the facts, the lived experience, and the receipts. Gutfeld brought the humor that cuts deeper than outrage ever could. And together, they said out loud what millions of Americans have been watching unfold in real time. California isn't struggling, it's unraveling. From riots in Los Angeles to viral videos that are exposing entire blocks overtaken by homelessness, to Gavin Newsom's own admissions that his home state has become the poster child for failure. The narrative collapsed all at once, and that is the key. This is not about left versus right anymore, folks. This is about the reality versus performance. Well, tonight, we're going to go ahead and walk through how Gavin Newsom ended up speechless again, why the media can't spin this away, how a jog video, a podcast, and one live takedown exposed the truth California's leaders hoped you would never connect. So stick with me, guys, because once you see this, you can't unsee it. Thanks so much for hitting the like button, and make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I really appreciate you. And if you're just now checking out the channel, we really appreciate your support. If you choose to subscribe, we would love to have you a part of our community here. So this is the part that the media keeps pretending is new, but it's not new. You see, Gavin Newsom being left speechless didn't start with Rogan or Gutfeld. The moment just exposed it. You see, every time the conversation moves off script, every time someone stops applauding and starts asking real questions, the cadence breaks. The polished rhythm disappears, the confidence stalls, and what you're left with is hesitation, silence, that frozen look where he's clearly searching for the next approved line. You see, guys, that's because Gavin Newsom doesn't operate in reality. He operates in narrative space. He thrives when the questions are known in advance, when the cameras are friendly, when the audience is curated. But when unscripted criticism hits him, especially from voices people actually trust, the performance collapses. Joe Rogan and Gutfeld didn't ambush him. They didn't shout him down. They just simply removed the safety rails. And once those rails were gone, Newsom had nothing to lean on. That's not a bad night. That is a pattern, and voters are starting to recognize that. Now, here's why Rogan hits so hard. He doesn't argue theory. He argues life. Joe Rogan didn't tweet about California. He left it. He packed up, moved his entire business, took his audience with him, and never looked back at California again. No slogans, no press conference, just a decision millions of Americans were already thinking about making for themselves. And so that's credibility you just can't fake. That's credibility you can't manufacture. Meanwhile, Gavin Newsom governs through optics, carefully staged backdrops, and emotional language, and grand promises delivered with immaculate hair and zero accountability. He's got that slick salesman smile. I mean, like, he tells you that California is thriving while people are stepping over tents, businesses are closing, and families are fleeing. Rogan doesn't need to convince anyone that California has failed. People can feel it and they can see it for themselves. And so this is why his voice lands heavier than any policy memo ever could. So when Joe Rogan speaks, it resonates because it aligns with lived experience. When Newsom speaks, it clashes with it. And so that's the contrast. That's what left Gavin Newsom exposed on live television. Now, Gutfeld, he isn't there to lecture. He's there to cut. And that is why he's so effective. Humor lowers the fences. It lets people laugh first, and then they realize that they're nodding along. Gutfeld gives viewers permission to say the quiet part out loud, that California's leadership looks great on camera but collapses off screen. His sarcasm isn't noise, it's precision. You see, every joke lands because it's anchored to something that people already see with their own eyes. When Gutfeld mocks the polished speeches, the climate buzzwords, the endless promises, he's not dismissing policy. He's exposing the gap between presentation and outcome. Tent cities don't disappear because you use the right phrase. Riots don't calm down because the tone was empathetic enough. This is why Gavin Newsom can't swat it away. You can argue with an activist, you can posture against a politician, but humor sticks. It turns spin into punchlines. And once the audience laughs, the illusion is broken for good. And this is exactly how people get blindsided in real life too. Not because they're careless, but because they trusted the surface. Now, let me pause for a second because this part really matters. So a viewer recently wrote in and said that he had a heart scare, real emergency, no warning. He did what any normal person would do. He went to the closest hospital. Only later did he find out that hospital wasn't covered under his Medicare plan. So he said, I didn't know. I just went where they would take me. And that's all it takes. One moment, one emergency, one hidden detail buried in the fine print. This is why I partnered with Chapter, folks. They don't sell you any fear. They don't rush you. They just sit down with you and they find the blind spots in your Medicare coverage before life tests you for free. That's right, guys, 100% for free. Now, most people, they don't even realize how many gaps they have until it's too late. Chapter makes sure that that moment never happens to you. So if you're on Medicare or about to be on Medicare, most people are already calling the phone number right below on your screen, 909-563-8279, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. Click the link down below to get a second look for free. Because just like politics, it's not the speech that matters, it's what happens when reality shows up unannounced. Now, here's the part that they don't want to admit. This is not about isolated incidents. This is about tolerance becoming policy. Now, for years, California sold itself as the model, compassionate, progressive, and enlightened state. But what happens when compassion stops drawing lines? You get riots labeled as expressions. You get lawlessness explained away as context. You get citizens told to understand chaos because of being protected from it. Boy, please. Los Angeles didn't wake up one day and unravel. It was cultivated. Permissive enforcement, mixed messaging, leaders more afraid of optics than order, and when unrest hits, the response is hesitation, not action. Normal people retreat, businesses board up, families move out, and leadership just keeps talking like the model still works. Rogan and Gutfeld didn't exaggerate this. In fact, they narrated it. And that's why it's so hard, because viewers aren't shocked. They recognize it. The California model didn't quietly fail. It failed in public. Now, for years, homelessness was discussed the same way every time. It was discussed as a complex issue, a nationwide problem, something impossible to solve without endless funding and endless patience. That framing worked until it didn't. What changed wasn't a report or a study, it was visibility. Phones started recording what press conferences avoided. Sidewalks turned into camps, underpasses into neighborhoods, and suddenly homelessness wasn't an abstraction. It was unavoidable. Parents walking kids to school couldn't ignore it. Small business owners couldn't explain it away, and no amount of empathetic language could hide the scale. That's what happened when the narrative collapsed. Because once people see something consistently, they stop accepting excuses. And this is exactly what happened in California. Viral clips did what years of official messaging couldn't do. They forced a confrontation with reality. Not cherry-picked, not edited, just raw, repeated exposure. At that point, Newsom didn't lose an argument, he lost control of the frame. And once that happens, spin becomes impossible. So this is where it all snapped, guys. No music, no commentary, no agenda, just a morning jog, block after block, documenting what leadership kept insisting wasn't representative. And that's why it worked. There was no narrator to attack. There was no talking points to dismiss, just time, distance, and repetition. The longer the video went, the worse it got. And viewers, they didn't need to be told what they were seeing. They understood immediately. This wasn't a pocket problem. This was systemic. That jog video did more damage than 100 political ads because it removed interpretation entirely. It didn't accuse Gavin Newsom. It showed the result. And once people saw it, the familiar defenses collapsed. It's complicated. It's misunderstood. It's being exaggerated. None of that survives uncut reality. And this is why this moment stuck. It wasn't pervasive. It was undeniable. Now, here's where it gets almost surreal, because Gavin Newsom didn't just get exposed by the critics. He exposed himself. So when he acknowledged that homelessness and poverty had turned California into a poster child for failure, that wasn't spin. That wasn't media distortion. Those were his words. And once those words are out there, the entire defense strategy collapses. Because you can't spend years dismissing criticism as partisan attacks and then casually confirm the core accusation. It doesn't work that way, sir. That moment validates what residents have been saying all along. It wasn't exaggerated. It wasn't cherry-picked, and it wasn't unfair. It was real. And the worst part for Gavin Newsom is this. Admissions like that, they don't land as humility. They land as confirmation. Voters don't hear accountability. They hear, you were right, and I still didn't fix it. That's fatal in politics, especially for someone whose brand is competence. And so once that sentence hits the public, the debate ended. The question stopped being whether California failed, and it became how long leadership pretended it hadn't. For years, Newsom benefited from something most politicians only dream of: a media buffer. Soft interviews, friendly framing, headlines that praised intentions instead of measuring outcomes. That bubble held, yes, I'll admit the bubble held for a while until it didn't. Because viral reality doesn't ask for permission. Rogan didn't need a network. Gutfeld didn't need editorial approval. Independent creators didn't need press credentials. They bypassed the filter entirely. And that's what changed everything. You see, once the public saw unedited homelessness, real-time disorder, and unscripted criticism, the legacy media's role shifted overnight. They weren't informing anymore. They were lagging behind. They were trying to explain away what people had already seen with their own eyes. And that's when trust broke. Not because Newsom was attacked, but because the protection was exposed. And once people realize that they've been shielded from reality, they don't forgive it. They reject it. And that's the moment that the narrative truly fell apart. This is bigger than Gavin Newsom. He's just the clearest example. Polished leaders collapse first because polish is fragile. It depends on lighting, angles, timing, and control. It works when problems are abstract. It fails when problems become physical: tents on the sidewalks, boarded up stores, power outages, public disorder. Yeah, so Newsom speaks like a TED Talk because his leadership style was built for applause, not for pressure. Symbolic gestures, carefully chosen words, performative compassion. But governance isn't theater. It's logistics. It's enforcement. It's saying no and actually backing it up. When crime rises, when homelessness spreads, when riots erupt, a polished persona becomes a liability. People don't want tone, they want outcomes. And the more leaders try to manage perception instead of reality, the faster credibility evaporates. That's why Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld didn't need to exaggerate. They simply held up a mirror. And when image met consequence, image lost every time. Now, let's zoom out to 2025. Donald Trump, he's president again, and nationally, the shift is obvious. Border enforcement restored, law and order rhetoric backed by action, economic prioritization over symbolism. So whether people love him or hate Donald Trump, they know what the policy direction is. California chose the opposite path. So while the country moved toward a different direction by electing President Donald J. Trump, California resisted. While Washington emphasized stability, Sacramento leaned into messaging, and the results speak for themselves. Out-migration, rising disorder, public frustration. This isn't ideology, it's contrast. When Americans look at what's improving nationally and what's deteriorating locally, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. Gavin Newsom's California doesn't feel like the future anymore, it feels more like a warning. And that comparison, that's what's truly cornered him, because there's no slogan strong enough to outrun reality. This is the part that no consultant can fix. Presidential politics doesn't reward hesitation, it punishes it. And every time Gavin Newsom goes quiet under pressure, every time he dodges instead of decides, his national ceiling drops a little bit lower. Riots don't help, homelessness doesn't help, viral exposure doesn't help, but what really hurts is the accumulation. You see, voters don't evaluate candidates in isolation anymore. They stack the evidence, they compare patterns, and what they're seeing is a leader who performs well in these controlled environments but fades when reality pushes back on him. Silence is deadly in national politics, but so is overexposure without results. And Newsom now has both problems at once. The more visible California struggles become, the harder it is to sell him as the solution for the entire country. So this is not about party labels. This is about confidence. People want to know, when things go wrong, will you act or will you explain? And right now, the answer that we're seeing isn't helping this future. It's shrinking it. So let's go ahead and end where this began, with that moment. Gavin Newsom, he wasn't attacked, he wasn't ambushed, he wasn't treated unfairly, he was revealed. Joe Rogan didn't invent California's problems. Greg Gutfeld didn't exaggerate them, they just simply articulated what millions of Americans already knew, and once that happened, the performance couldn't survive. This wasn't a collapse caused by critics, it was caused by reality finally catching up to rhetoric. When image met outcome, outcome won. When polish met proof, proof didn't blink. That's why this moment mattered, not because it was dramatic, but because it was clarifying. The audience didn't learn something new, they had something confirmed. And once confirmation replaces doubt, there's no going back. The curtain didn't rise again, the script doesn't reset. This wasn't just Gavin Newsom left speechless, it was the end of the illusion.